Hi everyone, I'm Simon Savage and I'm one of the project managers at Libraries Connected, and as part of our BBC Novels That Shaped Our World Libraries programme, we are wanting to hear from you about the book, the novel, that has shaped your new world in the last 12 months. Which book have you turned to for respite or for escapism? Is it an old favourite? Is it a gripping thriller, some cosy crime? Is it a classic that you've meant to read for years and had a bit more time to do so? Have you turned to something that's helped through a pandemic, even a book about a pandemic? We just want to hear all of the books that have really shaped your new world. So down below, there is a link to a poll where you can tell us what that title is, and you could be in with a chance of winning a subscription box from Mr. B's Emporium. And if you tell us where you're from, you could win your library some VR headsets, which is very exciting indeed. So there we go. Let us know what novels have shaped your new world. I can't wait to hear what they all are. And if that wasn't enough, here are some recommendations from some lovely library users, as well as some of my lovely colleagues here at Libraries Connected.
Hello, my name's Basil. I'm the library manager at Trowbridge and Westbury Library in Wiltshire. And my escapist book is this one, Night Flight by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. The author's most famous for his Little Prince book. But in real life, he was a pilot on the early French postal system. This story follows the first flight, fictionally, from Patagonia in South America all the way up to Buenos Aires in Argentina. And it follows it from the perspective of the boss in the headquarters in Buenos Aires, listening through to what's going on, and the pilot Fabienne, who's taking the plane up as well. Are they going to make it? There's a storm brewing. Why are we doing this? What's the meaning of this? It's quite exploratory, quite philosophical. And I loved it for the philosophy as well as for the escapism. I'm never going to fly in a plane. I'm never going to probably go to South America either. And it's a lovely story. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Bye.
During the pandemic, I've really enjoyed reading crime and thrillers. I think the reason I've loved them is because they tend to draw together at the end into a neat conclusion, and I've found it really rather comforting during all of the uncertainty of the last year. One of my favourite novels that I've read in the last year has been Am Pilgrim by Terry Hayes, this one. It's an espionage thriller, and it draws together a number of different threads and perspectives into a really meaty thriller, and it is a total page-turner. Another interesting thing about this book is that it has a thread about bioterrorism, and it models out the impact of such an attack. And it really brought home the enormity of what we've all been going through over the last year. I really loved this book. It was totally absorbing, a real page-turner, and I absolutely can't wait for his next book to come out.
Hi, my name is Judy France and I work for Rotherham Libraries. I reread one of my favourite books last year, as I always find it quite comforting to go back to books that I know really well during times of stress. And the book is An Italian Affair by Laura Fraser, and it's described as a true life novel because it talks about Laura's travels around Italy in the months following her husband leaving her. I'll just read a little bit from the inside cover, which I think sums it up. Laura Fraser beautifully invokes the kaleidoscopic sights of travel, the rich colours of Italy, the pure happiness that comes from a good meal, and the heat of the sun on a tired body. I love travel and I love books, and this combines them both really well, and it provided some much needed escapism during last year. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Kate. I'm a library officer and I work for St Helens Library Service. I'd like to recommend this book, Away with the Penguins by Hazel Pryor. This book offers so much escapism and hope. Veronica McCready, an 85-year-old lady, is at home one day watching nature programmes, leads quite a lonely life, when suddenly she decides she's going to go and join a penguin expedition in the South Shetland Islands called Lockit Island. Veronica is a force to be reckoned with. She is a strong lady. She doesn't let age get in her way or any illnesses. So off she goes on this expedition with these beautiful penguins and the 3 scientists. Her strength of character and her resilience is absolutely admirable. This is a brilliant, fantastic read, and I would recommend to everybody.
Hello, my name's Christina Frost from City Road Library, and the book that gave me comfort during lockdown was People from My Neighbourhood by Hiromi Kawakami. This book gave me a lot of inspiration when I was feeling low and run down and lacking writing inspiration, and it also gave me a nice feeling of being in a weird and small and sweet little community when I was missing that a lot.
Hello, my name's Simon and I work at Pontefract Library in West Yorkshire. The book I've chosen is The Leopard by Giuseppe Tomasi de Lampedusa. It's one of the most remarkable achievements in literature, how a dying aristocrat conjured up this haunting masterpiece about a society in turmoil and the birth of modern Italy. Its great themes, the fading of beauty, death, the passing of all things, are explored through the dust and heat of Sicily and in the character of the leopard himself, Don Fabrizio, Prince of Salina. In the year of COVID, the central message of this wonderful, wonderful book rang out to me, spoke to me like never before. If we want things to stay as they are, everything has to change. Evocative, heartbreaking, unforgettable.
Hello, my name's Steph and I normally work at Melksham Library in Wiltshire. The novel that I most loved during lockdown was The Architects Apprentice by Elif Shafak. It's the story of Johann, who arrives in 16th century Istanbul as a lowly mahout with a rare white elephant and finds himself living in the private menagerie at the Sultan's palace. He soon catches the eye of the royal architect Sinan, who takes him on as one of his apprentices. The book is full of colour, intrigue, history and beautiful buildings, and I loved reading this and immersing myself into the centre of the Ottoman Empire at the height of its power. It was a perfect bit of escapism during lockdown. That's The Architect's Apprentice by Elif Shafak, and it's available in Wiltshire libraries to borrow.
The novel I enjoyed reading most during lockdown was Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I think I've been craving adventure and nature, and this book brought that, as well as mystery and some fantastic characters. I can't recommend it enough.
Hello. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas really helped me during lockdown. It is a fantasy adventure full of excitement, and it really took me away from the reality of a dull 2020. It's about a young girl, and we kind of follow her through a whole series of books as she comes to terms with her past, battles evil forces to save the world, and creates a better future for herself and her friends. I thought the characters really developed, as did the story throughout the series, and I absolutely loved it. I'd recommend this to anybody that was looking for a fantastical escape.
The novel that shaped my new world was definitely Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, which was one of the best reads of the last year for me. And in part I turned to it because Maggie O'Farrell is one of my favourite writers, so I know I'm in safe hands and I know it's going to be great. And so that was a real kind of, well, an imperative with what I was reading in the last year with everything going on, the great shenanigans of 2020. But also it was a book that was up for and ended up winning the Women's Prize last year, and me and my mother read the long list together, which was a real treat during the last 12 months. And yeah, brought some fun and joy into our lives. And this book, speaking of joy, despite the fact it might seem an odd pick because it's set in a pandemic and it is about the death of Shakespeare's son, as well as it being filled with some of the rawest writing on grief I've ever read, it also has so much love and so much joy about life and nature and the wonders of the world and the wonders of human nature, that I just think it is a phenomenal book. And yeah, it helped me through the last year, and I would recommend it to all of you.